Hey everyone, it's Kevin, and in this video I'm going to tell you how to maintain those healthy eating habits in 2020. If you want to control what you eat and control your body, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. And don't forget to check out my free 7-day challenge, Stop Overeating in 7 Days. You can find a link in the description box. Okay, you've made your New Year's resolutions, that's great, and we're about a few days into the new year. How's it going? Usually when I made a New Year's resolution, it failed after a few days, maybe a week, sometimes even the first day. I had all of this excitement at the end of December, only to be disappointed by January 1st or January 2nd at the latest. And then I was back to square one and I set some new milestone in the future, and I waited until that day to change. The problem is I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and before I knew it, 10 years of my life had passed. So in this video, I want to help you maintain those healthy eating habits that you wanted to make in December when you were drinking champagne and eating chocolate and turkey and stuffing. Well, now it's January. I'm going to show you how to maintain them well into 2020. My first tip for you is to recognize that just because it's a new year doesn't mean it's a new you. Yes, I know the new year, new you BS has been going around for the last month, and if you read any of the health magazines, you've probably seen it on the front cover. I remember Runner's World every January. It was like, new year, new you. Well, just because the number on the calendar is a little bit different, and the month is different, and the decade is different this time, doesn't mean anything has really changed. Remember, a calendar and dates and months, those are really just arbitrary. They're just illusions. They're figments of our imagination. It's kind of like money. There's nothing inherently valuable about a dollar bill. And there's nothing different between January 1st and December 31st. We just kind of made it up to help tell time. I'm not saying we shouldn't have a calendar, by no means, but what I'm saying is that your brain keeps going. It doesn't recognize calendars. It just sees time as one long continuum, and that's how you need to see it. You're not a new you, it's just a new month. Now, if a new month helps you make changes, that's great. But just recognize that not everything is going to change in one day. That leads me to my second tip. Don't worry when you slip up, because you're going to slip up. I think a lot of people have this idea that they can be really bad in December and then they have to be perfect in January. That's not how it works. Change isn't always clean and black and white like that. A lot of times when we try to make changes, we have to fall and get back up, fall and get back up. Look at a baby who's trying to walk. What does he do? He falls down, he gets back up, falls down, and gets back up. At some point in our lives, we got this idea that if we fail once and it's all over. If you're trying to start a business, you're going to have to try a lot of things that don't work. If you want to find love, you're going to have to date a lot of chicks or guys, whatever, that aren't going to work out. In order to find what you want, you have to try a lot of things that you don't like, that don't work out, that cost some money. That's just the way the game is. So when you're trying to create a new habit, especially when it involves something so primordial like eating, don't be surprised when you screw up. This leads me to my third point. Don't fall for the what the hell effect. The what the hell effect means you mess up and you use that one mistake to justify more bad behavior. So let's say you're on a diet and you only want to eat one cookie, and instead you accidentally eat two. You didn't accidentally, but you ate more than what you intended to, and you say, well, what the hell, I might as well eat the whole bag. That's aggravating the problem. How does it make sense to eat 20 when you only ate 2? It really doesn't. It's completely irrational. The problem is you expect to be perfect. And so you give yourself license to be really bad today with the expectation that you're going to be perfect from now on. You need to let go of this idea that you have to be perfect in order to change. Change isn't so easy sometimes, and it's not clean, and it's not always linear. It's not like a stock market or something like that. Even a stock market isn't linear. But sometimes you're going to go like this, and then this, and then this, and this. What you want is a long-term average. You want to go from here to here over the long term. And that means it's okay to slip up and to make mistakes on the way. That leads me to my next point. It's okay to encounter obstacles. You need to normalize challenges and normalize obstacles. It's okay if you encounter an obstacle. It's okay if you hit a plateau. It's okay if you screw up one day or even 2 days. You just need to maintain that commitment and remember what your reasons are for creating these types of changes. Remember in a previous video on making healthy changes, healthy eating changes, you need to have a good reason why you want to do it. Changing habits isn't easy. You need to have a powerful motivator. This is why a lot of people who try to quit smoking, they try for years not to quit, and then somebody in their family dies of lung cancer or COPD or whatever, and then they quit because they have this epiphany, this come to Jesus moment, and they realize what the consequences could be if they don't quit. My point is they have really powerful reasons, and up until that point they just didn't have a powerful enough reason. We make decisions when we're emotional, and when you have a really emotional reason for doing something, then you're going to take action. You also need to feel the consequences of not taking action. That's why the smoker who sees a family member die finally takes action, because he sees the potential consequences of his habit. If you can't see or feel the consequences, if you feel like you're never going to experience those consequences, what's the point of changing? You might as well not change at all. Maybe you'll tolerate what you're doing for the foreseeable future. But that's probably the worst thing you could do, is to tolerate a habit that you really need to change. Because when you start to tolerate it, it's really difficult to change. You don't have the motivation. You think it's okay. You start to rationalize your behavior. And that's when you start to engage in bad behavior and bad habits over many years. And that's what happened to me. I just tolerated it for too long. I didn't realize how screwed up my behavior was. I didn't realize how destructive my behavior was. I couldn't feel the consequences. I could see the weight gain. I felt slower when I ran. I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. And that was bad in a sense. But apparently that wasn't enough to motivate me. I had to come to a point where I realized that I was destroying my life and I was discounting my life, and I only had one life to live. I know that sounds kind of corny, but we do. And our lives are really short, and they're shorter than we think, and you might as well play your best. Okay, motivational speak over. Let's get to the next point. My next tip for you is to make small decisions every day. You don't have to completely overhaul your life. I think this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to change. I felt like I had to be a completely new person in one day, like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. You know, that's not how it works. You don't have to do this. You don't have to undergo this transformation in one night. What if you just made one better decision each day? If you made one better decision each day, over time that would lead to a drastic change in your life. This is what's known as the compound effect, which is a really great book, by the way, that I highly recommend. Let's say you're a really unhealthy eater, you're eating a lot of junk food. Add a cup of broccoli to your diet. It's not going to cost very much. It basically has no calories. But what if you just did that? What if you just did that one thing? I call this an anchor habit. When you have that one good habit, when you're doing at least one good thing, it makes it easier to form other good habits around this one good habit. Now, if you don't have any good habits, it's really hard because there's no anchor. But if you had that anchor, like eating the cup of broccoli, or maybe taking your fish oil, or getting enough sleep at night, whatever, as long as you have that one good habit, you have something to build on. You have a foundation. It's like having that concrete foundation to build a house on. It's like having that support wall when you remodel a home. You need to have something. So even if you have some sort of eating disorder, or you're binge eating, or whatever, as long as you have that one good habit, you still have a chance. Focus on those small decisions every day. Focus on decisions in the moment. Remember, the average person makes about 150, 200 decisions about what he eats during a day. That's 200 chances you have to make the right decision. And celebrate those good decisions. Maybe you're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. But did you make a good decision today? Yes or no? Probably at one point. And if you did, what was different about that moment? Why did you say no when you could have said yes? Or why did you say yes when you could have said no? You want more of those moments. You want to improve your average. But forget perfectionist tendencies. This is what leads to really bad behavior, and it delays change, and it makes it really hard to change. Small decisions lead to massive impact over time. Okay, here's a little bit of review. Normalize challenges. It's okay. Expect obstacles. Don't berate yourself when you screw up, because you probably will. Don't fall for the what the hell effect. Ignore perfection. And ignore this new year, new you BS. It's not real. Time is an illusion. Maintain healthy habits even if you have other bad habits. And finally, focus on those small decisions each day. Small decisions count. How are you going to maintain your healthy eating habits in 2020? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see other videos about eating right and living a healthy life, then check out some of my other videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.